The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
And takeout from different supermarkets and restaurants. Yeah, Shabbos is pretty easy to keep. But to enhance the Shabbos, to do our extra, is not so easy. But perhaps we'll be inspired by the following story that took place almost 100 years ago. When people lived in Radin was a downtrodden and poor village. But on the Torah map, it was a metropolis. It was the home of the Chofetz Chaim and the yeshiva of Radin. And there were two fellows who lived in Radin, and they decided, you know what, the time has come to move to America. We're going to be able to make more money there. We'll be able to support our families easier. Let's go to America. And that's where they went. But of course, Shabbos would be a challenge. And every Friday, they came and they tried to convince their foreman, their boss, their supervisor, to let them take off for the Sabbath. But every time they got the same response. If you don't show up tomorrow, don't show up on Sunday either. And this went on every single week for 2 years until one day they got a job in an insurance company. Came Friday, and their supervisor told them, as long as you get your work done, I don't care if you do it in 6 days or 7 days. And they were able to take off for Shabbos until World War I broke out. And then the supervisor announced, all hands on deck, you have to be in work every single day, Sabbath included. Well, for one of the fellows, he said, listen, we're going to continue to work hard to keep Shabbos. I'm not coming back to work. But for his friend, he said, this is enough. I can't do it anymore. It's too hard. He came home that night. He was a little quiet by the Shabbos meal. And then he told his wife, listen, tomorrow, don't wait for me. I'm not going to be eating the meal with the family. After shul, I'm going to work. She looked at him and she didn't say a word. That night, they didn't speak much. And the next morning he woke up and he was looking to put his pants on, but he couldn't find them. He looked for his shirt, for his shoes. They were gone. He opened up the closet. None of his clothing was there. He says, oh my gosh, somebody broke into our house and stole all of my belongings. He tried to wake up his wife, who was a light sleeper, but she didn't stir or budge. And then he sensed, 1 second, something's wrong. Yeah, she had woken up in the middle of the night and she hid his clothing, all of it, in the cellar of the apartment building. He had no idea where it was. And he said, you don't understand, it's pikuach nefesh, it's life and death. I must go to work. Well, she looked at him and she smiled and she said, if it is a matter of life and death, then don't let something small and petty like clothing keep you from going to work. Go to work in your pajamas and in your slippers. He smiled. He knew he'd been had. He knew that his wife was right, and she was able to keep him a shomer Shabbos. He never went back to work on Sabbath. And 100 years later, they have hundreds of children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren who are shomer Torah mitzvahs because of her.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org